Na 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 na, na 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 na, hey hey hey, goodbye. Alright, y'all ain't come here to hear that shit. You're here because, well, I guess you're here to share the excitement with yours truly. Finally, The Rock! The Nintendo Switch finally supports Bluetooth audio. Yeah, that's just like your dishwasher finally gaining the ability to wash your dishes and your car finally gaining mobility when those things are literally some of the biggest selling points of those products. Alright, here are a few things to note. Only 2 wireless controllers can connect to a Nintendo Switch while using Bluetooth audio. Also, Bluetooth audio will be disabled when you're using local wireless connectivity. You can only pair 1 Bluetooth audio device at a time. You can store up to 10 of them. And yet another thing that should come as no surprise is that latency is still a thing because this is Bluetooth. All of this is understandable considering again that this is Bluetooth. So you can imagine a system where one of its biggest selling points is the Bluetooth that is built into it is going to have some kind of interference with various Bluetooth enabled devices. And about you being unable to use the mic on your Bluetooth headset, I'm not surprised that Nintendo hasn't enabled this ability. Remember, for the 1 or 2 games outside of the games you play in Nintendo's paid online service that support voice chat, well, there's this thing that I'm sure they don't want to go to waste, which is their online app that enables voice chat. Outside of Nintendo obviously running to that as some kind of lazy excuse, how many games again support voice chat? Either way, it's nowhere near the end of the world for me personally. And the rest of these are things you should expect from Bluetooth specifically, especially Nintendo now that they finally hopped on the bandwagon. But it will not only recognize your specific audio device, this is Nintendo's first rodeo, and they at least do support for Bluetooth audio right. Unlike Sony and Microsoft, who are usually ahead of Nintendo on the tech curve. However, they only offer proprietary Bluetooth audio support. And of course, Sony should know better above all else, considering the nonsense they pulled with PS Vita proprietary expandable storage. Anyway, after swiftly running to my Switch to test out this extremely belated feature, I have just a few patch notes of my own. When it comes to the would-be virtual console service, at max volume, those games still sound like shit. Which means, unfortunately, at max volume, those games are still as quiet as a mouse. Fortunately, I have some ANC headphones to make that a bit more tolerable. It's frustrating because if anybody knows this at all, it's the same case with Super Nintendo games on the new 3DS, new 3DS XL, and new 2DS XL. Whether you're using a headset or the system's volume, Nintendo once again proves how disgustingly incompetent they are when it comes to them comprehending an actual max volume setting. Otherwise, everything else, while the maximum volume isn't anything spectacular, will perform as normal, at least according to your headset's capabilities. Oh, and about this thing right here, I'll never be compelled to purchase a bandage that offers the exact same capability the product in question is more than capable of offering on its own. Also, there's a few more things that was added to the 13.0.0 update that was released yesterday, and I will provide a link to this page in the video's description, so be sure to check it out if you're interested. Why are people surprised that the Switch has always been able to support Bluetooth audio? The same Bluetooth technology supports your wireless controllers anyway. Keep this in mind, ladies and gents. Whether you're an apologist or a critic, it took Nintendo 4 fucking years to enable a basic feature that is literally the cornerstone of the Switch. It's what makes the Switch switch. So I guess it's better late than never. Either way, it's a classic example of why criticism is so important. But it definitely doesn't come without its hiccups. Hear Austin John tell it. The basic support that this update for Bluetooth audio on the Switch will vary with the modes that you play your Switch in. Basically, if you play your Switch in handheld mode like I do, that's going to be your best option. And depending on your Bluetooth headset, well, prepare for some disappointments. After all of these devices use Bluetooth connectivity, and the Switch uses what, Bluetooth 3 or 4 as the Bluetooth standard? Yeah, that's also worth noting. It's definitely not the latest and greatest standard that we all have the luxury of enjoying on our latest and greatest cell phones, Bluetooth headsets, and any other device that isn't a Switch. So there's that. Just a side Side note, Nintendo, it would be nice if there was a quick toggle to turn the power off on my Switch instead of pressing and holding the power button, only to bring up a menu to select the power off option. Why is this even a thing? Beyond that, I guess some actual themes and folders, and I'm definitely dreaming with this one, but an actual virtual console would be great additions to the Switch as well. We've only enjoyed these features on your previous gaming hardware, so here's to 4 more years.